I want a yoke. Well, I want a steering wheel. I don't care. I prefer a yoke. You are literally reinventing the wheel. We don't need to do that. It's stupid. Boys, how about we just do both? Oh, you mean like an option at checkout? No, that might complicate manufacturing. We'll put a steering wheel and a yoke on the Cybertruck and we'll have the woke. Are you trying to make my dream pickup truck into some kind of Twitter thing? I think I found my favorite version of wokeism, if you will. I'm buying a Rivian. So yes, Tesla put out on display at Investor Day what they're calling the pre-production beta Cybertruck. So I assume that means they're kind of going to gauge our opinions, what we think of this truck. Probably watch this video, watch social media, see what people's reactions are, because really, like Franz said, there's no pencils down moment. They're constantly going to be updating it and iterating on it, but I feel confident actually calling this a Cybertruck update, unless you only consider it an update if we get some kind of price or range numbers, because as of right now, at the time of recording this, they're not publishing any new stats or specs, but there's a lot of new information we can gather from this pre-production beta model they have out on display. Shout out to Rob Maurer for posting a very nice video of it. The biggest one that, in my opinion, is the most exciting, which is kind of speculation on my part, but I feel very confident about this speculation, is the very noticeable and uniform seam on the frunk. Even including the headlights and everything, I feel very sure now that this is going to be a full-size opening frunk, just like we have on the F-150 Lightning, which, sorry if I don't talk about it enough, but I think that was a genius design implementation. Far better frunk than what Rivian has on the R1T, and because Tesla has had so long to refine the Cybertruck design, because they can basically delay things as much as they like, it feels like they've figured out a way for that whole frunk area to open up so that basically you have a Model 3 size trunk on the front of the pickup that is also sealed and protected and still allows the truck to be durable and aerodynamic. I could be totally wrong on that one, but I just see such a clear opening line, and there's always a very uniform, or with Tesla, sometimes a not uniform gap on any part of the car that has to repeatedly open and close, and this definitely looks like an opening frunk, so I don't see them displaying that at the event at this time. I don't think they're going to unveil too many Cybertruck specifications at Investor Day, but I would love to be proven wrong on that. But of course, the other huge redesign is the woke, as many people are referring to it as already. So I know some people may prefer this because they didn't like the yoke approach, but I'm one of those guys that really appreciated the yoke and wanted to try it myself, and because the Cybertruck is so weird and different and bizarre, I thought, okay, why are you gonna buy such a weird and bizarre pickup truck and expect the steering wheel to be traditional like every other car? And everyone I watched that tried out the Model S and X with their steering yokes seemed to be very happy and content with most of them, which is why I was hoping the Cybertruck would have the option, just like the Model S and X. If you want the full steering wheel, you can have it, but if you want the yoke, you can have that. This feels like a weird cop-out, and I'm kind of confused by it because it feels like it would probably tick off kind of both parties. It's not quite the yoke for people like me that want the yoke, because the beauty of that is you don't have this excess space in your viewing area, so the interior feels a lot more cleaner when you don't have any extra, grab parts of that steering wheel up high. Now you have that arch, but it's flatter, so I guess it intrudes on your viewing area a bit less, but I feel like you'd still annoy the people that want the full steering wheel, because the main reason I've heard many people claim, whether it's for towing or backing up in the Cybertruck for wanting a full steering wheel, is so that you don't have to look at it and the wheel can just kind of slide through your hands, and your hands can stay fixed in the same place as the wheel is rotating and you can feel for it and kind of grab it. I don't think you get a lot of those full steering wheel advantages with this design, and of course there's no gear stocks, it's all capacitive buttons, which I've heard many people complain about, so I don't know, this feels like a bizarre middle ground, and I would kind of prefer if Tesla would just pick a side, either go all in on the yoke or go all in on the steering wheel. I guess the main motivation to having a yoke in Tesla's mindset was to have a more clear view of the driver display, but that's another difference we're seeing in this pre-production model compared to the previous prototypes we've seen in the past. There's no driver display. So at first my thought was, okay, that's a good indication that they're prioritizing, more simplistic, minimal designs, and maybe that makes it cheaper to build, but Rob also spotted something else, which I noticed, which is in the back seat, there is a rear display for the passengers. So similar to the Model S and X, that screen will probably help you control your HVAC controls, but it will also be capable of playing some games, directing the air vents, of course, and maybe watching YouTube videos and that kind of thing, which kind of contradicts my earlier theory. So I was like, oh, okay, they're going cheaper, but wait a minute. Back seat also gets a display, which the Model 3 and Y don't have. So I guess this means they're probably pricing it somewhere in between. Because of high demand and low supply, I still think the Cybertruck's going to be crazy expensive, but yes, I'm still happy to finally see a production model that has a display for the backseat passengers. Moving on to the back, we actually have a very clear view of some type of sub-trunk that's in the bed, which I don't believe we have seen before. They've got the tailgate down and everything. It's definitely not that bare bones steel that we saw in the original prototype, but it looks somewhat durable. But my only concern, which may just be because I'm watching a video of it and I'm not seeing it in person, but the padding on the sides of the bed feels very thick, you know? I don't know if they have extra storage compartments on the side of the bed or something, but the overall floor space of that bed feels somewhat narrow, and I don't see much evidence of a mid-gate, which I was very hopeful for. I'm not sure if GM has a patent on that and Tesla can't implement it, but the bed definitely feels long, but maybe not so wide as I was expecting it to be. I just keep wondering to myself, what's in all of those side sections? Like, when they first unveiled the Cybertruck, we thought those side pillars were going to have more storage in them, but I don't see any lines or any openings for those side sails, so I don't think there's that much storage area. But you can see where the air compressor hookup is and where the outlets are in the back that you can plug into, so they've got that working, which is good. And there's definitely visibly lots of hardware 4 cameras all around this thing. Kind of weird that the front bumper camera feels a little bit asymmetrical, but this Cybertruck is most definitely rocking hardware 4. And as far as the interior goes, it's definitely a different seat design than we've seen in other Teslas. No signs of ventilation on those seats though, so I don't think it's going to have the same seat setup as the Model S and X. And to be honest, there's quite a lot of white sections that I wasn't anticipating. Like the sides of the passenger doors and everything show a lot of white on the edges, which I'm not sure is a great choice. I feel like a lot of people are going to be using these trucks out in the field and getting them dirty, so you'd probably want everything as black and as dark and as easy to clean as possible. And I'm not sure if white is the best choice for that market. Maybe it is. I guess my white seats have been very easy to clean, but I don't use my car for work or out in the field or anything like that. I'm mostly just trying to get around efficiently. But some people were pointing out that the Cyber Wiper, if you want to call it that, is looking a bit more slick, and some people seem to be more okay with it now. I can't see a ton of differences, but I just want to remind people that there's really not anywhere else that would be better for that wiper. If you try to put it in the more traditional place on a vehicle, it's going to interrupt that very, very smooth, flat front of the truck that goes from the steel hood to the armored glass windshield. That would eat into your aerodynamics and result in worse range. And I personally just think it would be weird to have that huge, flat, smooth front and then just this big, giant wiper interrupting the whole thing. So I know it's weird, and I know it'll take some getting used to, but I personally prefer the giant one wiper to do the whole thing. I just hope that it covers your visibility fairly well. And the other weird thing that I hope is not a final production design about this interior is, you know, it has a huge center armrest where we can see cup holders and I believe wireless chargers as well. They don't want to put them in the same place as the sexy lineup right beneath the display. I believe because they want that whole front bench area to be open, but the center console does not look like it folds up anymore. It kind of goes straight past the passenger and driver's seat, which makes me think, ooh, man, are they wondering if they don't want to make a 6-seater anymore? I don't know if this is cheaper or more simple to produce that way, but really hoping that that's just a proof of concept, and by the time it's actually in production, we get like a full-on folding back. But they also appear to be taking another page out of Ford's playbook with the back seats. We've seen photos now of the lower sections being able to fold up if you want more cargo space inside the cab. So that's a good sign. It's a very common thing on other pickup trucks, and I'm grateful to see it here on the Cybertruck as well. And I think the truck overall just looks so much better with those original prototype hubcaps. They probably are not the most aerodynamic hubcap in the world, but when the Cybertruck is so sharp and as angular as it is, I think think it's very difficult to get any set of wheels on that thing that looks good and looks natural, because wheels are inherently round. So overall, I'm a pretty big fan of this design. I'm very grateful that Tesla decided to not just go by the book and make the same old pickup truck we've seen a million times, and honestly, I'm already kind of getting bored of after seeing the latest electric Ram. It's like, yeah, everyone's just kind of slapping their funky headlight design on the F-150 Lightning, which is a good pickup truck. It's very popular, so I get why people want to go with that, but it's just refreshing for those of us that would like some other options that maybe put a bigger emphasis on durability or aerodynamics, or, you know, if you don't care so much about how the vehicle looks, what's the best functionality you can get out of it? And people like me prefer the more minimalistic approaches and prefer that simple design on the interior that doesn't rely too much on buttons and dials. So I'm happy for you if you prefer the Rivian or the Lightning or the Silverado. I want everybody to basically be catered to so that some manufacturer can make the vehicle that they're looking for, and I think a lot of people are looking for a vehicle like the Cybertruck, which is why it's gathered so much internet fame and so much attention and so much hate all at the same time. I'm kind of fascinated by how many people love coming on my videos and commenting on how much they hate the Cybertruck design. It's like, okay, just don't buy it. You're not required to buy this. If you want Tesla to make a more traditional, regular looking pickup, then I think Rivian is your best bet. A lot of the Rivian company is former Tesla employees anyway, and they already have access to select superchargers, and that access is just going to grow over the next couple of years. So there's options for everybody, but I can't wait to get more final production specs on the pricing and the range of this truck. What do you guys think of the updated interior design choices? What do you think of the wiper? Are you excited at all to see that front trunk open up all the way? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, and I will see you on my live reaction at Investor Day soon. Take care.